Good afternoon. Good morning. 皆様、こんにちは。NRW.Global Business Japan のGeorg Löerでございます。Welcome to the NRW Cities and Regions event series. NRW Cities and Regions のイベントシリーズへようこそ。ドイツと欧州でのビジネス、この地でスタートというテーマで始めさせていただきます。皆さんの夏休みはいかがでしたでしょうか？私も1ヶ月ほどドイツへ行って、ノートライン・ヴェストファーレンの隅々まで行ってまいりました。もちろん、今日、主題となるアーヘンにも行ってまいりました。それでは、もともと今日のイベントシリーズは、ノートライン・ヴェストファーレン州と東京都とのコーポレーションプロジェクトから始めました。このウェブサイトでも書かれているように、東京都とノートライン・ヴェストファーレン州は5月31日に特に中小企業のためのコラボレーションを始めました。そこで7つの都市と地域をノートライン・ヴェストファーレンサイドで選んで、この7つの都市と地域が東京都と密にコラボレーションを進めていくことになりました。有名な都市ばかりで、アーヘン、ボーホム、デュッセルドルフ、コルン、エッセン、クレフェルド、それからRhein-Kreis、ノイスという、都市と地域でございます。多くの日本企業が点在している地域でもございます。このオンラインイベントシリーズのスケジュールでございますが、本日はアーヘンから始めさせていただきます。そして順次他の都市を紹介させていただきます。そして今日のプログラムでございますが、今日は私の挨拶の後にアストリッド・ベッカー、アジア・オーストラリア部長 NRW.Global Business GmbH と、その後 AGIT-Aachen Agency for Innovation and Technology Transfer のフランク・ライステン、Head of Inward Investment がお話ししてくださる。日本語でも紹介させていただきます。今日は私、ゲオクルアは日本語で話をさせていただきますが、通訳の機能もございます。Zoom の機能はご覧の通りでございます。ぜひ、セミナー中、もしくは講演の後、Q&A で質問をしていただければと思います。他の機能はご存知の通りでございます。So, Ms. Becker and Mr. Leisten, may I ask you to join me? こんにちは。
こんにちは。Good afternoon to Tokyo.
Thank you. Yeah, we're very happy to have you on board today after this lengthy summer holiday, our first event after the summer season. It's actually becoming cooler here in Tokyo again, finally. and we're very happy to have you. So, Mr. Leisten, we will speak about you a little bit later, but initially I would like to ask Ms. Becker for her word of greetings. 皆さん、通訳もついてますが、最初はベッカからご挨拶賜りたいと思います。それからその後、ライステンさんからのご挨拶と講演を賜りたいと思います。それでは少々お待ちください。So, Ms. Becker, please.
Yes, thank you very much. Really, we are a very good afternoon from Düsseldorf, and really we are very excited here also to start this series of events. And just let me quickly introduce myself. I am Astrid Becker. I'm the General Manager for Asia and Australia at NRW.Global Business GmbH in Düsseldorf. And I thank you all very much for joining our webinar. Today's webinar is the first of a series that we are going to organize over the next weeks to introduce to you the communities in North Rhine-Westphalia that join us in our cooperation agreement with the Tokyo Metropolitan Government. The agreement concerns a program which aims at fostering the market entry of small and medium enterprises from Tokyo to North Rhine-Westphalia and the market entry of companies from North Rhine-Westphalia to Tokyo. The city of Aachen, together with the county of City Region Aachen, has a long-standing and strong relationship with Japanese companies, as it is a prime hub of technology and innovation in Germany. You will hear more about this later, but let me just hint here that a very large number of Japanese companies is running collaborative R&D projects with the scientific institutions of renowned RWTH-Aachen University and other surrounding scientific institutions. This scientific landscape not only attracts scientists, researchers, and experts of world renown, it also attracts a large number of students interested in natural sciences and in engineering. Consequently, you find a persistent outflow of graduates and qualified workforce of technical professionals in this area. In addition, the close relationship with the Netherlands and Belgium contributes to very easy cross-border networking and business development into Western Europe. And now I'm very much looking forward to the presentation of Mr. Frank Leisten of AGIT, Aachen Agency for Innovation and Technology Transfer, and give the floor back to Mr. Löer. Thank you very much.
Beckerさん、どうもありがとうございました。それでは、アーヘンのAGIT GmbH Aachen Agency for Innovation and Technology Transfer。日本語では AGIT Aachen Innovation 技術移転公社に移りたいと思います。こちらはライステン様の履歴の紹介でございますが、英語と日本語がございます。1996年からアーヘン工科大学にて経済学および地理学を勉強して、2011年にアーヘンイノベーション技術移転公社に入試なさって、それから2013年 NRW 優秀アーヘン地域のビジネス向け優秀性をプロモートする活動をアジアで展開されていらっしゃる。日本からのビジネス施設も数多く受け入れ、実績がございます。So, Mr. Leisten. Thank you for participating in this event series today, and the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, I was introduced already, so thank you very much for the introduction. My name is Frank Leisten, as it was said. I'm head of inward investment, and I'm trying to support foreign companies when they're interested to come to the Aachen region to invest here, to make research. And so I give you an overview about the Aachen region, but I'm always trying to see the perspective of the companies. So I try to fulfill the needs that a company has and what they're looking for, and see to make this presentation on this view. So click on the first slide. Can you click? Yes, thank you. You see that we are a region with a lot of history and with a lot of future. Talking about the history, it should be mentioned that Aachen is a beautiful city, especially with the Aachen Cathedral, which is more than 1,200 years old. So Aachen has a lot of tradition, and you can see on the pictures with the traditional marketplace, the cathedral, and hold on, I see there's some note. That we have also not only tradition, but also future. And talking about future means that we have the university. So we have a lot of innovative companies and a lot of companies that come to Aachen because of the Aachen University. The last thing that should be mentioned here is that we are really centrally located in the heart of Europe. So you see the three flags. That means Aachen is located to the border to Netherlands and Germany and Belgium. So we hear a lot of people that speak French or Netherlands, and it's very easy to reach Brussels or other cities in Central Europe. Click. When we talk about companies, what is very important for them, it is that they have access to qualified work staff, but also that they need to have a market to reach customers, to reach clients, and to reach a lot of clients. So here you see a map of Central Europe with Aachen in the center, where you can see that, for example, there can be reached more than 10 million people within a driving hour of 1 hour. I think this is very important because this is more or less the driving time for people that are willing to maybe travel to work in the morning hours. But when we go to see a market, how many customers, how many clients you can reach, it should be mentioned that about 71 million people can be reached within 4 hours truck drive. That means you can reach a lot of people within this time, customer, clients, suppliers. And if you want to be successful on the European market, I think it should be mentioned that there's a large number of clients, people that you can reach within this 4 hours time. Okay, click. Next slides. This is an overview about the Aachen region that I'm working for. So I just point out some numbers that might be interesting or important for you. The Aachen region that I'm working for has a population about 1.3 million people. And there are more than 80,000 companies working in this region, and a workforce of 600,000 people is also something that should be mentioned, because workforce is, of course, one of the most important factors if you want to build up a company in a region. And with the last numbers, I go also to the next slide that shows you the workforce that might be there from the university. Thank you so much. Here you see the university landscape in our region, which is one of the most important factors for many companies to come to Aachen, to invest in Aachen, and to make research in Aachen. So here you have the first overview about Aachen with the technical university, with about 47,000 students. So Aachen has not only one of the best universities in Germany, it also has one of the most qualified and best universities when it comes to technical and engineering subjects. And I'd like to point out one number which is very important, because this is something that a lot of companies profit from. There are more than 7,200 graduates that leave the Aachen universities, and they leave the university to be active on the market, on the working market. That means that all the companies in the Aachen region that are looking for qualified work staff that studied at one of the best universities in Germany can profit from these 7,000 graduates that are leaving the Technical University of Aachen. And also the smaller University of Applied Science, with about 15,000 students, they are also per year about 2,000 graduates. And when I talk to foreign companies, they say that the workforce and the qualified workforce, the students and the graduates, was one of the most important factors to come to Aachen, because qualified workforce is, one of the most important factors to settle somewhere. Last but not least, it should be mentioned that there is also a research center, one of the largest interdisciplinary research centers in Germany, with a staff of 6,000 employees and also a scientific staff of more than 2,000 people. That also shows once more that Aachen is a technology region. Click. I mentioned that the Aachen Technical University is very important for the economy of that region. So a lot of people work together with the Aachen University and profit from the Aachen University. And I'd just like to point out some numbers of this slide. So for example, you see that the budget of the Aachen University is about 1 billion euros, 1 billion euros. And the third party funding, that means money that is raised by the university to do research projects. To do research projects with companies is more than 400 million. I come to that point later, because this is also one of the most important facts when it comes to the investment region and the technology region, Aachen, for companies like you. I mentioned the number of students already, but I also like to point out that you can see that there are 260 institutes. That means that I always say there is pretty much no subjects where the Aachen University is not active in. So there's always a working field there, a institute or some professor or engineer is working on, and no matter what the company are asking for, there is always somebody who says, yes, I'm working in this field, we can work together, we can set up a research project. And I think this is also something which is very important for companies who are looking for maybe very specific fields, research fields that they active in, where they need a partner. So I jump also to the slides to the past on the right-hand side, where you see national ranking that was done not by the government, but by companies. So it's a research that was done by Wirtschaftswoche, which is an economical newspaper. And this newspaper asked about 500 company representatives. What they say is, in their opinion, the best university. Where do the best people, staff comes from? And then you can see what the companies said. And I think this is also important to mention. The companies said that in the field of mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, natural science, computer science, Aachen is always in almost always in the top 3 of these rankings. And that means that even the companies say Aachen is one of the best universities that we like to work with, that we like to get staff from. And as we have these universities in Aachen, I think this is a very important factor for companies, for Japanese companies that are looking for some settlement where they can go and where they can make research. Click. I mentioned the third parties already. That means money that is raised by the universities where they can do research projects, maybe funded research projects, but also projects where a company says, we'd like to have a confidential project that we do together, where we have to solve a problem that we have, or a challenge, or something that we want to develop. And here you have a ranking of all the excellent universities. That means all the best universities that we have in Germany. And you see their third-party funding compared to all the other excellent universities. And here you can see that the AGIT-Aachen, the Technical University of Aachen, is the best universities when it comes to third-party funding. That means they have the most money in projects, and so also they are the best equipped universities. So they have the best materials, the best machines, the best testings to do research with companies. And it's always good to see when I'm working together with companies that are interested in Aachen, how open their institutes talk to companies, and that it's really a level where the institutes, where the university understands what the companies want, what their challenge is, what they want to do. And that this is a very important factor to do successful, to really lead the challenges and the demands that the companies had to be successful, to create new projects and to be on new markets that they haven't been before. So click. This is more a specific slide that really shows how detailed we go into specific items. Here is the number of graduates, potential labor markets for certain subjects, for example, computer science, physics, mechanical engineering. And this slide should show you how we see that students, but also graduates, can be part of this network with companies, and a lot of companies, of course, profit from these graduates. And this is just an example that we give to companies to see, okay, how many people in the field of chemistry are graduating from the university. So to see what kind of potential staff is leaving the university for me as a company. Click. I mentioned already that we claim ourselves a technology region. On this slide, you can see why we do this. I mentioned already the Aachen University landscape. Here you see a comparison of Germany, North Rhine-Westphalia, the Aachen region, and the city region Aachen, where you can see the numbers of employees that are working in the field of research and development compared to all employees. And you can see that all over Germany, 1.2% of all employees are working in the field of research and development. When it comes to North Rhine-Westphalia, the number is already a little bit higher. But when we jump to the city region Aachen, you can see that 7.6% of all employees are working in the field of research and development. And this is not only in the universities where we have a lot of staff, where we had a lot of scientists. It also that a lot of companies decided to come to Aachen to open up a research center. And this is also my invitation to you to have a closer look to Aachen, to maybe open up a research center, to be active in Aachen and to use the potential that we have in Aachen in these research fields. And I mentioned 260 institutes. This is quite a lot. So I think there's always a subject, a topic for you where you can say, this is exactly what we need. This is what we want to be on the European market with new projects. And you can see that a number of companies that are just an example. This is already, for example, there's Denso, famous Japanese companies, but also maybe to point it out, there is Amazon. And they went to Aachen for the research field of speak recognition. You know, they have Alexa, and when you talk to Alexis, there might be people with a strange accent or people who talk very fast. And Alexa needs to understand and needs to have the knowledge to know what the people are saying. So it's a very difficult and very specific working field where we have experts. So this is why, for example, this company came to Aachen to use the knowledge of speak recognition to be active in Aachen. Click. Next slide, thank you. This is another working field which is very important right now, the field of e-mobility, electromobility. And here you see, just as an example, if you're working in the field of e-mobility, or if you want to be more active in this field, here's just an overview of institutes, but also some companies that are working in the field of chemical material science. This could be the battery research, or electrical engineering, automotive engineering, of institutes that specialized on this item of doing research project with companies in the field of e-mobility. And I like this slide because it really shows you very nicely how many potential and how many institutes could be a partner for you to work in this field of e-mobility. And so that was just an example in this working field. Click. So the next slide, thank you. Now we come to the service that we do for you. AGIT is a company that works especially for innovative and technical oriented companies and support them, of course, when it comes to settle down, but also to find partners for you, research partners, or find partners in the Aachen region that you might work together with. And so we are official company. We are financed by the city of Aachen, the city region, the Chamber of Commerce. And our aim is to attract companies, to support them, to be successful in the Aachen region, to settle here, so that the numbers of companies, of innovative companies, is growing. And of course, Japanese companies belong to the innovative companies. And so this is an overview about what we do and what it stands about. And on the next slide, click. You see the service that I do in the field of inward investment. So our service is providing general and specific information. And we come to this specific information later on. We give background information about the branch and the working that we're working in or that you're looking for. We make contacts to universities or to the Chamber of Commerce. We bring it together to the Foreign Affairs Office if it's necessary. So all the contacts that you need to be to concentrate on what you want to do, on being successful and setting up a company, is where you can rely on, where we try to help you. And of course, our service is free of charge, as all the economic melon do this. And so, yeah, I'm always open to talk to you, to get information and to support you, to see how you can be successful in Aachen and what you can find here to, face the challenges that a lot of companies having right now when it comes to e-mobility, when it comes to safe energy, when it comes to find new projects or products to set up and to be more successful on the world market, on the European market or the German markets. Click. Next slide. And I mentioned already that we have a good network. And I think this is important for you, because when you come to Aachen, you need to find maybe a local saving bank. You need to find offices where you can set up your business. You maybe need tax advisors or contacts to the universities, and you don't know about how to do this. And there you need to have a partner that works together with you. We take you at the hand, as we always say, and support you so that you can concentrate on your business and we do the rest for you. And this slide shows this network where you and AGIT stands in the center. Click next slide. Here is once more to see how that works. So we work closely together with NRW Global Business. And then when we know who you are, what you're looking for, and what your needs are, we make contact to the local authorities in Aachen, the city region. We talk to institutions, of course, to the Aachen University, the University of Applied Science, the Chamber, the labor agency. So all the contacts that you're looking for, put them together, provide them in a presentation that is specified for you. So this is very made concrete for you, and then handle them out via NRW Global Business to you, so that you have all the important information that you're looking for. And then, and we did this only 2 weeks ago with a Japanese company. We made a tour. We had meetings with the Aachen University. We had meetings with landowners to talk about production halls, to talk about offices. So this is what we do together with NRW Global Business. And the next slide, click, you can see just examples how we provide more specific information. I mentioned that we do general, but also specific information. And here, you don't have to read this, but it should give you just an overview about a company that is maybe looking for partners in the field of battery technology. So, and then we give them information about potential institutes like ISEA. We give them information about what the institute is doing, the working field, the technology fields, and then you as a company can decide, is this interesting for me? Do I need more information? Do I want to talk to the person in charge? And we organize this. The next slide is another institute, just to see how that works. This is PEM, also in the field of battery engineering, another institute. So it's just to see how we work, how we handle information to you as a company, and try to do this the most efficient and way that you can profit from. Another specific information, of course, is in the next slide. It's just an example of last week. So we're talking about really projects that we're doing right now. And that was a company that was looking for office space to do research projects. And here is just an example how we do this, how we provide information, so you can see what the number of square meters that you can rent their price per month. And it should be mentioned that maybe the prices in Tokyo are a little bit higher. So for example, in this specific case, we have a property that has a monthly rent of €9.50, very good quality. And this is also what we offer. And only last week we had a presentation, or we had a site visit with a company that was looking for office space, and we went there. And so this is what you can expect to have a good overview about potential sites. And it's just also an example that you get a feeling for what we do and how we provide information. Next slide, click. This is once more the network that we have. And I mentioned I want to do the presentation from the perspective of a company. What do they need? They need qualified staff. They need maybe university that they can work together with. They need a place where they can go. They need a network. And here a network is mentioned once more to see what we can offer. And I think what Aachen makes so special is it's not the largest city, but it has a good size, and their partners work very close together. So the city of Aachen, together with AGIT, institutes, we work together with spin-off, also startup companies that are spin-offs from the university. And these spin-offs work very often very closely together with larger companies. So the larger companies can profit from the spin-offs and the ideas, and the spin-offs can profit from the knowledge and the know-how that a larger company has already. And this network of other participants that working in this field, economic development, the cities, the universities, and other partners in this field, they work very close together and very well. And this is also why so many startup companies are successful in Aachen, why so many companies grow in Aachen. And I see this because I do economic development. And we have a lot of companies right now that are growing, that need new staff, new larger halls or offices, because they develop new projects and because the cooperation with the university goes so well. And I would be happy if you could also profit from that network, from that excellent university that is really open to work together with you and to use the potential that we have in the heart of Europe. And so I only can say you are most welcome to come to Aachen, to see what we can offer, to see how you as a company can profit from the knowledge that we have, to really face the challenges that companies are seeing right now when it comes to safe energy, when it comes to new materials, when it comes to new products that has to be developed. We are a partner for you, and we are like to guide you together with NRW. And so I hope that my presentation was interesting for you and you were curious to learn more. And together with their NRW Global Business, we try to support you and help you to be successful on the European, but also on the German markets. So I say thank you so much. Here you have my contact information. So together with NRW Global Business, we would like to support you. We would like you to be successful in Germany and do this in the Aachen region. And say thank you so much for listening to my presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Leisten, thank you so much for this excellent presentation. There were so many things in there. I mean, just to tell you a small secret, of course, there are other towns in and cities and regions in North Rhine-Westphalia, but Aachen is definitely one of the most often used words in our work here in Japan. Obviously, there are a lot of other corporations which maybe you know about, but which you cannot talk about, because of course a lot of these corporations are on a confidential basis, and we have again and again heard about such corporations with major Japanese companies in a variety of areas. So I think this is a testament to the strength of the Aachen technology region, to the University of Aachen, to the Fachhochschule Aachen, and also to the Jülich Center. But of course, there are also such wonderful things as the Aachener Printen. If you have not had them, please order a pack for Christmas. And of course, there are the wonderful onsen, or the baths in Aachen, where you can relax and enjoy time. But now let's go into the discussion. We have a number of prominent people on board today. We have Max Nakagawa, who used to work in Wegberg for Denso. We have Mr. Jansson, who has for many years represented FEV in Japan. We have Professor Okuda, who has represented Aachen University
Yes.
For many years as regards Japanese matters, professor for chemistry at Aachen University. We have Professor Mizukoshi from Tokyo Tech, who is also a very active stakeholder and player in the cooperation between the Tokyo Institute of Technology and RWTH Aachen. And of course, we have our colleagues from Tokyo Metropolitan Government, Otani-san and Mishima-san today on board, and also actually some journalists from Nikkan Kogyo Shimbun and the Chemical Daily. So now, please be courageous, don't hesitate to join the discussion, to ask questions, raise your hand. We can bring you into the discussion with sound and video if you want. And so please do so. But maybe to kick off the discussion, Mr. Leisten, I mean, I think the point you mentioned about getting qualified staff is really one of the key issues companies face these days. I mean, even before the corona pandemic, it was difficult to get really very good qualified staff. And where would one get such good staff if not in places like in Aachen or graduating from Aachen University, Technical University? And I remember this key expression when we visited Denso in Wegberg several years ago, saying, well, we want to become insider in the German industry. And why do we come here in the area of Aachen? Because there are so many graduates here who move on to senior positions in industry at companies, be it Volkswagen, Porsche, Daimler, BMW, or many other companies, in leading companies in Germany. And for Japanese companies to, develop relations with such companies and with these people, it is of course very important to network, to be able to engage with such people. Is that also, can you confirm that observation, maybe also for other companies? I mean, you do not just have Japanese contacts or investors in your area.
Yes, definitely. So finding ways to get qualified staff is always an issue where we also make interesting projects. So what a lot of companies do, really, they start to hire students who have maybe done their first grade already. And so they start working in the company. Then they maybe make their final thesis, their master degree with the company, at the company. So when they are graduates, when they go to the labor market, they already work in this company. So the companies can raise these students to qualified staff. And so this is something that a lot of companies do. And of course, there are also several other ways. The university is active in this field. We have also fairs for companies that can attract graduates for this. So we call it Die Nacht der Unternehmen, the night of companies. It's kind of a fair where companies, innovative companies, present themselves, and then students come to that fair and get information about what is the company doing, what are their interesting facts, and how can I be part of this company. And then there are also buses going from this fair to the companies, so that it's also possible for the companies for the students to have a look at the companies, how they work, how the company looks like, and really see it on the practical way, what they're doing. And so this is also part of my job to support companies in this way. And only about 2 weeks ago, we make contacts to the labor agency. They're very also helpful and active in this way to find staff. And then together with this network that we have, the university, the labor agency, we see how can we support the company so that they find staff. And it's a challenge, of course, but we also are always trying to find innovative ways, and the companies are also quite innovative to do this.
Okay. Well, I think another very important aspect for companies in your region is that they, obviously Aachen is located right on the border next to Belgium and the Netherlands. I think there's one place where you can kind of with your hands and your feet, you can stand in 3 countries at the same time, which is quite exciting. But I think this aspect is increasingly important because obviously our friends in the Netherlands and Belgium also have important business. They offer business opportunities, but to be able to kind of cover both the German market and these other markets, as you mentioned, there's more than 70 million people in your area. I think this is also a hugely important aspect, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and this is, I mean, I showed this on I think that was the first slide where you can see the flags. And I like to do this also with companies, and then we go and we jump from one to the next place and we say Guten Tag, Bonjour, Goedemiddag in the 3 languages, and that really shows how close it's together. And so we have a lot of people who maybe work in Aachen and live in Belgium. We have companies who have maybe 2 subsidiaries. One is in Netherlands and one is in Germany. We have research projects that are cross-border. The Netherlands University in Maastricht is working together in projects with the Aachen University. So, of course, there are borders, but we are in the European Union and it's one market. And to be on this market, we cannot say we are on the border of Germany, we are in the heart of Europe. And we live this every day. And I think this is an important fact. And this is also what I said, we are in the heart of Europe. That really means Brussels is about 1 hour away. I just went to Brussels last weekend and it was 1 hour, 10 minutes and I was there. Paris is 2 hours 50. Frankfurt is 1 hour 30 by train. So you can reach a lot of large cities within a few hours. And this is also important. And when it comes to the region, yes, we work together. And this is not a border. We say, no, this is Netherlands. We don't do this. So we also have a colleague that is working in this field of making cooperations between research project companies, so that it's not that you say, we don't have a company that might be a partner for you in Germany. We also look across the border if they might be a company which is a good partner for this company. We do this, and this is a natural thing for us. And I think this is unique.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we have talked to so many people. I mean, one of the companies we, both of us, met recently in Aachen. I mean, they told us about their business in Antwerpen and with one of the major German chemical companies. And they look at Aachen as a very interesting location to set up their German basis, especially because also of getting these highly qualified people from the field of robotics and so on. So I think that's great. When we're talking of clusters, what would you characterize as the main clusters in the Aachen area? I mean, you have already mentioned electric mobility. Of course, engine development and so on was always a strength of Aachen. We know about power related electricity related research, Professor De Donker and others, very close cooperation with industry, and also one of the former heads of the Fraunhofer ILT, Professor Poprave, is, as they say in Japan, Yu-Meijin, a very famous person in his field here of photonics and laser. Well, how do you see the development in these clusters in the Aachen area, and do you see any new exciting things cropping up?
Yes, there are always new exciting things popping up, and this is also because we have the university, and as they work so closely together, they always have an eye on what is going on, what is a thing that is needful, interesting for companies. So, and for example, many activities go in this field of, for example, hydrogen. Energy efficient is new renewable energies using green hydrogen is a big topic, which is a challenge for many companies. And to support this is a big topic. Then when it comes to automotive, we have a lot of automotive suppliers that go into that direction of transforming and using the field of e-mobility. And then it comes to certain fields where the traditional companies, maybe in the field of automotive or machinery companies, use new methods. And so a topic that is very important right now is new materials. How can I use new materials, carbon fiber, for example, and use them in my old production? Laser industry is also something which adapts many old ways of cleaning materials or making a new surface on the materials. And so these are our industry 4.0. So these are subjects where I would say this shows how the companies are changing right now and using these methods. And then, of course, using the material and the institutes that we have for the Institute of Textile Industry, who's very active in the field of carbon industry, using laser technology in the old subjects that the company is working in, because they might come from very traditional handcraft machines, but then using these new ways of doing something. So this is something which is, I would say, kind of a trend right now. But when it comes to industry in general, we really open, and we have a wide variety of different companies, from food industry, which is the traditional industry that we always have with Lind and Sprüngli, the printing they mentioned already. So this is something, or Centis, also sweets. So we kind of into that sweets
got a
thing.
sweet tooth.
But then using new methods, new ways of doing something. And for example, when it comes to that field of Industry 4.0, it's not only that it's one institute that is focusing on Industry 4.0, we have a lot of institutes in the field of textile industry, in the field of laser industry, that also work in this field of how can I make my production more efficient. And this is also to make it more efficient, to make ways more easier, more efficient to make a production which is not so labor intensive. This is also that can be used on many industries. So I wouldn't say these are the three main subjects. I would just say the more important facts when it comes to what is special about Aachen is that these companies are very innovative and using these new methods, using new materials, using new do things of production, laser industry. So I think this is something that is special for Aachen.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've pointed out innovation as a key word, and also I think the people in Aachen have the right mindset to use that knowledge they have to connect it with other parts and bits of knowledge and to then create something new out of these out of this network and out of these many aspects. I have one question here from Mr. Fujimoto, a journalist from Nikkan Kogyo Shimbun, a well-known, respected Japanese newspaper. He thanks you for your great presentation, and he's asking for some examples of activities related to startups and the startup industry in the Aachen area. I mean, we have seen in North Rhine-Westphalia a huge increase of startup activity over the past few years, and I think Aachen is, so to say, also at the center of this activity. I mean, we have in Japan obviously supported companies like Street Scooter or also other companies, but maybe you can give us a short brief on that.
Yeah, Aachen is in Germany, but especially in North Rhine-Westphalia, one of the hotspots when it comes to startup companies. And one of my colleagues, Hava Shoshgun, she is an expert in supporting these companies, these startup companies, innovative startup companies. So I can also offer you some more numbers if you're interested to get some more information about the number of startups. But when you once more see what is different to other startups, maybe from Berlin, where it's also kind of a startup cluster, it is that these startups that we have in Aachen are really also, or most of them are in a technical way. So these are startups in the field of laser industry. So they worked at the university as scientists. They worked already on projects with companies. So they have learned about companies, how they work, how they act, have contacts to companies because they have such a close relation to companies. And then they become an entrepreneur, a startup. We support them because a startup is a startup. They don't know about run a company. So we have projects, how to support them. We bring them together with companies. We bring them together with business angels to help them so that they have the knowledge, but also use the background for grants or maybe from startups, business angel to be successful. And so we're doing quite well also with the network that we have that really supports the startups. But really the startup in Aachen are really different to the startups in Berlin. The startups in Aachen, they have machineries. They have something that they produce. They need to have a production hall. I see this because I support these startup companies. And in Berlin, they can sit at Starbucks and do some computer things. And this is different to Aachen. They have a product. Yeah. And so I can give you numbers, but I know that the largest numbers of startups from universities are in Aachen when you have comparison to other startups cities in North Rhine-Westphalia.
Excellent. Well, I think all this shows that Tokyo Metropolitan Government has chosen an excellent partner in Aachen to support the Japanese companies who wish to go there. Please.
Yeah, there's one more thing. So the Aachen University has also set up a project, Access 5, which is kind of a supported program. And Access 5 is specially set up to attract foreign companies, maybe from Japan, to settle in Aachen and not to be lost, but really have the background of the Aachen University. So it's run by the Aachen University. So, and also we are part of this Access 5 strategy, where we also see how can we help and support the companies. So that is also going together with these people to the Foreign Affairs Office. When it comes to apply for a visa, if there are some certain questions and they don't speak German so well. So we went together there. And so this Access 5 is also maybe a good project that really shows that the Aachen University is not only strengthening the startups from the Aachen University, but also goes to other countries and say, you're most welcome to be as a startup also in Aachen and profit from the network, profit from the knowledge that we have, and support you to grow.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, maybe as you have heard in the background, the chime for 5 o'clock, children must go home now, and we have to watch our time schedule here a little bit. 皆様どうもありがとうございました。長い時間、ライステン様とベッカ様のお話を聞いてくださってありがとうございました。まあ、この東京都とノートライン・ベストファーレンのコーポレーションは、まあ、たくさんの新しいビジネスを生むことができると確信しております。それで、まあ、そこで特にベッカヤンゼン我が社のドイツでの同僚と各都市のパートナー、まあ、アーヘンではライステンさんなんですけれどもがサポートしてくださるので、ぜひこれからもっと密になって協力していただきたいと思います。ベッカさん、maybe you want to say one word or two words at the end of our event. We can't hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, I think it was a very impressive presentation we saw by Mr. Leisten, and I agree fully to Mr. Löer that I think we have found a very good partner for the companies from Japan active in the air in this new cooperation agreement between North Rhine-Westphalia and Tokyo Metropolitan Government. And I'm really looking forward to receiving the first visitors from Japan very soon. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And before, thank you once again, Mr. Leisten, but before I really close down for today, I have to, otherwise I will be scolded by my colleagues. I have to show you the next few slides. So our next stop will be in Essen. 次のストップはエッセン市でございます。So this will be on Thursday, 木曜日にまたお会いしたいかと思います。So please come and join us for the session with Essen on Thursday. And also, of course, for the other sessions, if you have any question, please contact us at our office. 何かご質問のあった場合は、ぜひ我が社に連絡していただければ、もちろんドイツも in Germany, of course, you can also contact Ms. Becker and Mr. Jansen, and you will also find the information on our website later on. この情報はもちろんウェブサイトにも搭載いたしますので、どうぞよろしくお願いします。So, everyone, once again, thank you so much. Stay healthy and enjoy the wonderful autumn season, and see you on Thursday. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, and bye-bye.